Hey everyone, if you're looking to create a professional looking websites like this one here, which we're gonna create in this video, you're at the right place. But first of all, let's be clear. Divhunt is a platform that offers much more than what's shown in this video. It's a tool that professionals rely on to build a high quality, scalable websites. But that doesn't mean it's complicated. For the basic needs, like most small businesses needs, it's pretty simple. Stay with me in the next 15 minutes and you will see how quickly you can bring your project to life. It's going to be super fast, secured and optimized for ranking on Google. Without waiting anymore, let's begin. This is the screen that you're gonna get when you're creating a new project on Divhunt. First of all, you need to input a name for your project. I'm going to name this one a sections guide. Down below, I can select a plan for my project. Into a data center location, I can choose a location for my servers. Since I'm from Europe, I want to select a Germany here. This is basically the location where all my data for this project will be stored, so you're going to pick a closest one to you. With that done, I can hit a create project button, wait a few seconds. Here I get to choose if I want to start from the scratch or if I want to use a predefined template from this list here. In this example, we are starting from the scratch, so I will just hit this button here. Wait a few seconds for my website to generate, and I will be redirected to my project settings. Here you can find some self-explanatory options. If you click on the Open Admin button, you will get some additional settings connected to your project. To open the builder of your project, you simply need to click on this Open Builder button, wait a few seconds, and you'll be inside the builder of your project. You'll be welcomed with this pop-up, which contains a video guide that you can watch. Since we don't need it, we'll just simply close it, and at the first glance you can immediately notice a canvas system. In Divhunt Builder you can move freely. By holding a space key on your keyboard and left click on your mouse, you can move in all directions. And by holding a Control or Command key on your keyboard and using a scroll bar on your mouse, you can unzoom and zoom. On the sides of the builder, you can find these left and the right sidebars. On the left one, you can find a Pages tab. Here you can find the list of all your pages inside your project. You can delete them or create a new ones. Inside a Components tab, you will find a list of all your components. And inside the Layers tab, you will see a structure of your selected page. Before we go to our right sidebar, I'm going to select this body tag so we can get a options inside our designer tab. Here you can set up a styles to your tags such as spacings, font styles, colors and other CSS styles. Into a settings tab, you will find some additional settings connected to your tags. Into a advanced tab, you will find some advanced options which we won't cover in this video. Into a interactions tab, you can create and manage your interactions and animations. The first thing that I like to do when starting a new project is to save the colors that I'm going to use throughout my project. To save the colors on Divhunt, you need to go here into a styles, then switch to the colors tab, and by hitting a plus icon you can create a color variable. Here you need to type in a name. I'll name this one a text secondary, hit confirm again, and I need to open a color variable and assign a color value to it. I'll switch here to a hex code, paste down my hex code, hit enter, and that's it. Now let's create one more. Let's call this one a black, hit confirm again. Let's set up a color value to be completely black, and let's create a new one. Let's call it white, hit confirm again, and since the white is the default one, we don't need to change a color value here. You can create as many color variables as you want. For this example, I'll just leave these basic ones. So let me show you why the color variables are important. For example, if I select this body tag, scroll down a little bit, and open this color picker here, I can find my color variables listed here and I can quickly access them and set colors to my tags. But that's not the most important part. If you in the future, for example, change your mind and you want this color to be a little bit different, but already a ton of tags contains this color variable, well, simply you need to go to the styles, then colors, and if you change your color variable here, every single tag that contains this color variable will be automatically changed. Okay, now we can reset this color, which we set for the test purposes, and we can begin with adding actual sections to our web page. To add a sections to your project, you need to open this predefined panel, and here you can choose from the styled sections or from the wireframes. We're going to begin with a sections. First of all, we need a navbar, so let's open this dropdown and let's simply drag this navbar inside our web page and it will be automatically added. Now we can close this dropdown and we would need here a hero section. So let's find a hero, here it is. Let's find a good looking one and let's simply just drag it inside our web page. Now let's switch to the wireframes and let's, for example, add a statistics section. And here you can immediately see a difference between a sections and the wireframes. Sections are colorful, styled sections with images, and the wireframes are just dark and white blank structures. So we can here use this section, for example. So let's just drag it inside. And let's again switch to the sections, and this time let's add a features section. We can go with this one, looks pretty nice, so let's just drag it inside. Now let's close this here and let's add a testimonial section. We can proceed with this one here, so let's just drag it inside. Now let's again close this drop down and let's this time add a theme section. For example, let's find a good looking one. This one here looks nice, so let's just drag it inside. And as you can see, it doesn't look like this section here, it looks a little bit broken. That's because this section here uses a slider plugin, which is not installed by the default inside your project. So let's go to the settings here, go to the browse plugins, and we need to find a swiper plugin. Here it is, I just simply need to install it. I need to wait a few seconds here for the plugin to be installed. And I can now go back to my builder, and as you can see, my section will work as it should. Now let's add a CTA section. So let's open this drop down here and let's use this one here, for example. And lastly, we would need a footer for our page, and for that let's use a wireframe. And for the footer, let's use, for example, this one here. It's pretty simple, I like it. And that's pretty much it. With the footer we have completed our homepage in just a few minutes. Before we proceed even further, I want to show you something inside a preview mode. Here you can see how your page looks like, and what I wanted to show you is that our web page is completely responsive for the smaller devices. You can see that as I shrink my screen down and if I scroll through my section, that everything adapts to my screen width. That's because every single section and the wireframe are completely responsive to all screen sizes, so you don't need to worry about that. Now let's get outside of the preview mode, let's zoom in here a little bit, and let's see how can we change a content on our web page. That is pretty simple. Let's begin with this text here. For the text tags, you just need to select them, double click on them, you will get this pop-up, and I'll paste down my content here, hit the save button, and my text will be automatically changed. Now for the images, you simply select them, click here onto the replace file, you need to upload them from your device. So I already prepared these two images, so I'll just upload them. Then you need to select it, hit the use button, and your image will be changed. Now let's as well change our logo here. So let's go replace file again, select our logo, hit the use button, and our logo will be automatically changed. You may have noticed that now inside our layers tab we have a list of some tags. That's because now we have actual structure inside our web page. We have added sections which contain a lot of tags, and all of those tags which are placed inside our web page now you can find inside a layers tab. Okay, now we can see how can we actually change styles to our tags. For this example, let's select this heading here. Let's switch to the designer tab and let's scroll down a little bit. Here into a typography section, you can change a font styles for your tags like font size, font family, font color, and similar. As you can see, we already have something here, so let's increase a value to something like 75, and you will see that my heading has gotten bigger. And now if I'm to have a multiple pages, I would need to go from the page to page and manually set these styles which I changed here to every single heading one. But actually I don't need to do that. I can use a global class. So let's first of all reset this styling here. Let's scroll up, and while my heading 1 is selected, I want to click here and select this global H1. Now every single change that I do here will be applied for every single heading one inside my project. So let's again go here and type in a 75. You will see that again my font size has been increased, and now every single heading one which currently exists in my project and every new that I'm going to create are going to inherit this property. Now let me go back, and for the example let's add another heading one, and you will see that if I select it, scroll down a little bit, that it is inheriting a font styles which we set on a global class. Now let's remove this heading here by right click and the remove button, and let's see another example of the global classes. For this example we want to remove this underline from these links and this button here and this button here. Now it would be boring to just select this link, go into typography, remove the underline, go here again, and repeat the process for every single link tag. So let's go here and reset this property, and let's make this change globally for all links. Now this here and these buttons are the same type of tag, it's the link tag, so we can edit everything in one place. Let's select this here, and let's go again here and select a global link, and here we can set up a underline to be none, and you can see that all the underlines from my links and from my buttons has disappeared. While we are still talking about the global classes, let me show you how can you install a new fonts and how to set them inside your project. So for that we will need to go to the settings, then we will need to go to the fonts, and here we can add some Google fonts by opening this drop down here, or if we go here we can add some custom fonts. But let's go back here into Google Fonts and let's type the name, something like Poppins. Let's select it. We would need to select a font weight which we want to include inside our project. So let's select something like this, and let's hit add font, wait a few seconds, and our font has been installed successfully. So now we can go back. And now how can you apply your font to all your text tags inside your project? Best practice for that is to select a body tag, then go here, select globally all body tags inside your project throughout all pages, then scroll down, open this drop down here and select the wishing font. Now in some cases you will need to refresh the builder for the changes to be applied, and as you can see our paragraph here now contains a font Poppins, and this heading here also contains font Poppins. When you're working with these pre-made sections and the wireframes, in some cases they won't inherit this font family which you set globally. And why is that? That's because some of the sections already contains a font set to them directly, and it is overriding a font setting which we set up globally on the body tag. Now don't get confused with these terms, we will explain that in a second. As you can see, this section here already contains a font setting set directly to it, so it is ignoring a global setting. What you need to do in this case is hit the right click here, hit the reset styling, and you will see that it will automatically inherit our global style. Okay, now let's see how can we reuse the styles but don't use a global classes. For this example we're going to use a normal classes. So let's scroll up a little bit, and now let's say we want to reuse styles from this button, but we don't want to take this button every time and copy it and paste it down whenever we need it, because that is a bad practice, and in the future it will be so hard to quickly change the styles on every single button. So let's remove this one here for now, and let's take all these styles from this button and set them up on a class which we can later on reuse. First of all, we need to copy all these styles from the button, so let's hit the right click, go here into a copy and select a style. Then we will need to go here as we did for the colors, but this time we want a classes tab. Let's create a new class. Let's call it simply new-button. Let's hit confirm. Then we can hit a right click on our newly class and just paste down all the styles which we copied. Now we can close this here. We can again right click on our button, then go into a clear and remove all the styles from our button. Now if we select it again and apply our class that we just created, so let's just type in new, and here it is, we can select it. You can see that this button will pull all the styles from this class which we created. Now let's zoom out a little bit and let's set this button to have same styles as our button in the navbar. So let's just simply select our button and we can from the layers completely remove it, and let's add another tag here. You can quickly add tags by accessing them on this quick menu here. By simply left clicking on them, we need a link button, so let's add one link here. Let's select it and let's apply a class which we created, so it's called new button. You will see that it will automatically inherit all the styles. Now you can quickly edit your classes very easily by simply selecting them. And for example, let's change the background color for our class. Let's set something obvious like this dark red color, and you will see that this button here and this button here, which contain the same class, will both inherit this new style. So you can this way quickly edit your styles which you set on your class. Okay, we've given enough attention to the classes. Now let's see how can we quickly edit styles to our tags without needing to use a classes or the global classes. For example, I don't like this spacing on this section, so let's simply select it and let's just increase this top padding by simply selecting some of these predefined values. Let's input something a little bit bigger here, and that's okay. Down below in this section we can, for example, invert the colors, and I can simply do that by selecting a section, then setting up a background to be, let's say, black, and then let's set up a font color to be white, and this looks already way nicer. So let's see what else we can do. Okay, back in this section again, we can turn off these corners. So let's firstly in our layers find the wrapper. It's probably this div here, so let's scroll down a little bit, and yes, you can see this radius of 60 pixels. We can simply right click and reset it, and yes, with the sharp edges this already looks better. If you scroll down below a little bit, this section looks fine. Here we can remove this white grid behind, and as you can see we have grid lines image here. We can simply hit a display none here and it will be automatically hidden. Then into this section we can set up a background to be pure black color, and for the buttons we can simply remove this one completely and we can go with this white one. And inside the footer we can set up our logo. So as we said before, replace file, select image, hit the use button, and that's it. And as you can see, the global classes and normal classes are completely optional. You can set up the styles to your tags without needing a classes. Okay, so now let's see how can we create a completely new page. So let's scroll up a little bit, open this pages tab, hit a plus icon, and let's create a contact us page. Let's hit confirm, and our blank new page has been created. Now let's show both of these pages at the same time on the canvas. So let's right click on our home page, hit pin, right click on the contact page, hit pin again, and both of these pages will be pinned to my canvas and will be shown at the same time. Now to add sections inside our brand new page, first of all we would need a navbar, and let's reuse this navbar that we set on our home page. To easily reuse the structures we can turn them into a components. To do that, simply select a section for this example, hit right click on it and convert it into a component, and into the layers it will get this green color. So let's get back here, select our body tag, then we need to add this component tag. Once it's added, select it, go to the settings, open this component drop down and select a component you wish to attach to it. We only have this one, so let's select it, and you will see that just in a few seconds we have successfully reused this navbar from our homepage. But why shouldn't we just copy it and paste it? That's because when you're using components you can then easily make some quick changes over all the components at the same time. To show you that, let's select this components layer and let's select our created component. Now here, for example, let's change this text here. Let's add something like home page, for example, hit save button. Inside our button we can name it contact us, for example, hit the save button. Let's unzoom and you will see that the text inside our contact page has been updated, and as well text on our home page has as well been updated. That's why you should use components, because you can quickly edit the structures and you can quickly reuse them. So now if you open this component here, select it here, and into settings we can turn off the instance. By turning off the instance, you're assuring that your component will have exactly the same styles and the content as your main component. This is the best practice to do for the navbars and for the footers, because they're exactly the same on every single page. Okay, since this is the contact page, we would need a content form on it. So let's select our section, click on the predefines, open wireframes for this example, and let's find a forms. Here it is. We can use this one for example, so let's just drag it inside, and that's it. Now on this page we only need to have a footer. So let's go back to our home page again, and let's find our footer, and let's, as we did for the navbar, turn it into a actual component. Now we can go back, select our body tag, let's close this here, add a component tag, select it, go to the settings, open the component dropdown, and now we can select a footer. It will be automatically applied, and as we did for the navbar, we can turn off the instance for our footer as well. And that's pretty much it. Now all we have to do is to connect these pages. Now let's go here into the navbar, select the homepage link, and while we're at the settings, we'll get these additional settings connected to the linking. So the homepage needs to lead to a homepage, and this button, which says Contact Us, will lead to our Contact Us page. Now we can easily test this out into a preview mode. So let's turn it back into a full width. Now if I click at the home page, it will lead to our home page, as you can see, and if I click into a Contact Us button, it will lead us to our Contact Us page. And as you can see, I have set up the linking on one place, and those settings has been applied to both of my components. Okay, so now when we created our two pages, let's get creative. Let's add some animations inside our project. And for that, we would need to install two plugins. So let's go to the settings, browse plugins, and we want to install two plugins called Simple Scroll Animations. So let's install this one. We need to wait a few seconds for this plugin to be installed. And we would need a text animation plugin. So let's install this one as well. Again, we need to wait a few seconds. Once the plugins are installed, we can go back inside our builder. And first of all, let's apply our text animation plugin. Let's select this heading here, go to the settings, open the transform dropdown, and we want to apply a text animation plugin. As you can see, it will automatically work. And here you can open the additional plugin settings and you can fine-tune animations to your needs. For example, we can change this animate way to work with the words instead of the lines. We can reduce a duration, for example 350, and the delay to be 150, for example. Let's hit enter, and that's pretty much it. We won't go into details about this plugin since we have a separate video which covers this plugin in detail, so give it a look. Let's hit save button here, and now let's select this whole wrapper which holds my image with these two blocks, and let's again go to the settings, and here we want to apply a simple animation plugin. Let's open it. We want, let's say, fade in left. We don't need a delay, so we can turn it off completely. Offset is okay, and duration is okay. So let's hit save button and let's preview it inside our preview mode. And as you can see, let me hit refresh here. We have this simple fade in from the left animation, and if you want to fine tune it, you can again open these additional settings, you can edit everything you want here, and again we have a separate video that covers this plugin as well. Now let's go here and let's take this whole wrapper which holds everything in this section, and let's apply a simple animation plugin to it. Let's this time fade in up. Again, we don't need a delay, so let's turn it off. And for the duration, the duration is fine. Let's just increase the offset to 200 pixels. Hit save button again. We need to go to the preview mode. If I scroll down a little bit, you will see that as soon, let me hit refresh, that as soon as this tag on which we set iPlugin gets 200 pixels inside our screen, the animation will trigger. Now off the camera, I'll go through all of these sections and apply these two plugins, and I'll be seeing you in a second. Okay, we're back again, so let's reload this page. You can immediately see these two animations which we created together. Now, as you scroll through this page, you will see a bunch of animations which I created, and trust me, it was way easier than it looks like. And as you can see, these simple animations looks beautiful, and they are already giving a professional look to our website. Okay, with the animations we have covered almost everything you need to know for the beginning. Now let me show you some technical stuff. If you want to set up a SEO settings for your pages, you can simply go here, right-click on a page, open a settings, and here you can set all the properties on your pages separately. So let's hit save button. Now we can go to the project settings and into a custom code. Here you can paste down every part of the custom code that you need. For example, some embed codes like Google Ads, Google Analytics, and similar. If we go here into a settings, here you can set up a favicon for your website. The favicon is basically that small icon that you see at the tab when your website is opened. And lastly, let's talk about the publishing your website and connecting a custom domain. Even if you're using a free plan on Divhunt, you can still connect a custom domain. To publish website, you need to click on this button here, which will open this drop down. If you hit this publish button, all the changes that you've created on your website will be available for all the other users. And if you want to connect a custom domain, you need to click here onto the manage domains. We will be led to this screen here. In this field, we can type in the name of our custom domain. So let's just type in a sections-custom-domain.com, hit the update button, and down below we will get all the informations which we need to set up inside our domain provider, and our domain will be connected. And we slowly came to the end of this video. We saw how can we quickly build a website by only using a pre-made sections offered by Divhunt. Also, if you're a beginner, you saw everything you need to know to begin your journey on Divhunt. Take a look at our channel where you can find more videos and learn more about Divhunt. My name is Darko and I'll be seeing you in the next video.